To discuss is Dr. Christopher Labos, epidemiologist and cardiologist. Dr. Labos, good morning. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So what does the research show? Is there enough evidence there to say that Tylenol and autism are linked?
No. In fact, quite the opposite. I think when you look at the evidence in its totality, the overwhelming consensus is that Tylenol is safe during pregnancy. It is probably the safer alternative. Let's not forget that pregnant women do get sick. They do develop fevers. They do develop pain. Tylenol is probably safer than many of the other over-the-counter medications like Advil and ibuprofen. Those anti-inflammatories do have a number of side effects associated with them, not just the increase in blood pressure, the increase in stomach ulcers that we see in the general population, but also there are some birth defects associated with this. I say birth defect, it's actually a decrease in the amniotic fluid that you can see, a condition called oligohydramnios. But still, there is some concern about using these types of anti-inflammatories during pregnancy. And so the consensus has always been that if you do need something for either pain or fever control, Tylenol is probably the safer alternative. And I'm certainly not convinced with this, purported link to autism. I think the better quality studies have shown that there frankly is no link there.
What concerns do you have about how people respond to these claims?
Well, I think the biggest concern here is that you're going to cause fear, you're going to cause confusion, you're going to cause pregnant women to not know what to do. I think many pregnant women hearing this might say, well, I'll just suffer with the fever or suffer with the headache and not take anything, which is actually not a good thing. Having uncontrolled fevers, having medical issues during pregnancy is actually not good for the pregnancy, right? There's an old adage is that what's best for the mother is best for the fetus. And so there's a reason why we treat women during pregnancy. Like, I understand the sort of impetus to say, well, I'll just not take anything and that's the safest option, but that's not necessarily true. And of course, pregnancy is a difficult time. There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of uncertainty, and just throwing one more source of uncertainty into the mix doesn't do anybody any favors. It's frankly doing a disservice to many pregnant women out there who are understandably concerned about wanting to carry a healthy baby to term.
Autism diagnoses have been on the rise, Dr. Labos. So what other factors should be considered apart from the use of Tylenol?
So autism diagnoses are on the rise because we have a more inclusive definition than we did in years past. So because a lot of milder cases are now being diagnosed as autism and we don't use terms like Asperger's syndrome anymore, a lot of people who are very, very mild, a lot of people who are on the spectrum, as you will often hear talked about, they are now being counted as having autism, whereas they would not have in the past. So that's the real reason the numbers are going up. Part of it is the fact that most people are having kids at an older age. That plays a role as well. And there might be some environmental factors at play here, but a lot of autism is frankly genetic in origin. There's a reason why the rates are so high in twins and higher when you have other members of your family with autism. There is a very strong genetic component. The fact that it affects boys 3 times more often than it affects girls, I mean, that's genetics. There's no environmental factor that's only going to affect boys and not girls. So there might be some aspect to it, but a lot of it is genetic. And if we're looking for ways to deal with this, we're going to have to look sort of much, much deeper into genetic and biochemical potential issues. But to say Tylenol is a factor is, I don't think, supported by the evidence.
Dr. Labos, thanks so much. Really appreciate you being with us.
My pleasure. Take care.